Hello all, welcome back to Sri Sai Tech Edu YouTube channel, Read, Lead, Success. I am dealing with the subject Research and Publication Ethics. Already, Module 1 concepts I have already uploaded in my channel. If you have missed out, please do watch. Module 2 is related to scientific conduct. Under this, there are totally 5 topics. That is ethics with respect to science and research, intellectual honesty and research integrity, scientific misconducts, that is falsification, fabrication and plagiarism, redundant publications, duplicate and overlapping publications, salami slicing, selective reporting and misinterpretation of data. So let us see the one by one topic. In this video, I'll do ethics with respect to science and research. Ethics with respect to what? The science and the research. The most common way of identifying that ethics, defining ethics is what? Norms for conduct that distinguish between acceptable and unacceptable behavior. Ethics means what? It is a norms for the conduct that distinguish between what to both acceptable and unacceptable behavior. The term research ethics refers to a wide variety of values, norms and institutional arrangements that help constitute and regulate scientific activities. Research ethics is a codification of scientific morality in practice. In other words, research ethics may be referred to as what? Doing what is morally and legally right in research. So as a whole, what we can tell, ethics is nothing but it is a distinguish between acceptable and unacceptable behavior and what is morally correct and legally right in doing research. The whole thing is what is the how we behave while conducting a research, which are the norms to follow, which are the rules to follow, which are the ethics we need to have while we are conducting some research. Broadly, there are 3 different perspectives on ethics. Ethics as a disposition, ethics as duty, ethics as utilitarian. Ethics as disposition means moral virtues are inherently present, just have to dispose. Ethics as duty means it is one's duty to act in a way that uphold values. Ethics as utilitarian means relates to principles of ethical conduct that benefits majority of stakeholders at large. Objectives of research ethics. What are the 3 objectives? Protect human participants. Ensure research is conducted in such a way that it serves interests of all stakeholders, society at large. Examine research activities for ethical soundness. It is important to adhere to ethical norms in research. We need to adhere to what? Ethical norms in research. What are those? We will see. Which promotes the aim of research such as knowledge, truth and avoidance of error. For example, prohibitions against fabricating, falsifying or misrepresenting research data promotes truth and minimizes error. Since research often involves a great deal of cooperation and coordination among many different people in different disciplines and institutions, ethical standards should promote values that are essential to collaborative work such as trust, accountability, mutual respect and fairness. Okay. Ethical norms must help to ensure that researchers are held accountable to the public. They should be accountable to the public. Ethical norms in research should also help to build public support for research. They should also help to build, they need to build the public support for the research. People are more likely to fund a research project if they can trust the quality and integrity of research. Promote a variety of other important moral and social values such as social responsibility, human rights, animal welfare, compliance with the law and public health and safety. What are the ethical principles? We will see now. There are different ethical principles involved. First one is honesty. Strive for honesty. Be honest in all scientific communications. Honestly report data, results, methods and procedures and publication status. What does it mean? That it should be our own work. Honesty is the best policy, we tell, right? Honesty means honestly we need to report our own data, our own results, our own methods, our own ideas or procedures. Publication status should be honestly done. Do not fabricate, you should not fabricate the things or duplicate the things, falsify the things, or misinterpretation of the data should not be done. Do not deceive colleagues, research sponsors or the public. Do not manipulate the colleagues or research sponsors or the public. Objectivity. Objectivity is what? Is nothing but strive to avoid bias in experimental design, data analysis, data interpretation, peer review, personal decisions, grant writing, expert testimony and other aspects of research where objectivity is expected or required. Objectivity should be exact to the research, and we should avoid bias in these all the mentioned things, that is experimental design, data analysis and so on. Avoid or minimize bias or self-deception. Disclose personal or financial interests that may affect research. You should never disclose the personal or financial interests that will affect your research. Integrity. Keep your promises and agreements. Act with sincerity. Strive for consistency of thought and action. You should have this all. Should keep our promises and agreements, and we should be very sincere at our work, and we should try for consistency of the thought and action. Then carefulness. Avoid careless errors and negligence. Carefully and critically examine your own work. We need to examine our own work before we are giving it to for the peer review or wherever we want to publish. So, and the work of your peers. Keep good records of research activities. You should have a good record of research activities such as data collection, research design and correspondence with agencies or journals. Openness. It should be openness. Openness is nothing but what? Share data, results, ideas, tools, resources. Be open to criticism and new ideas. You should be open to what? Criticism and new ideas. Okay. Transparency. Disclose methods, materials, assumptions, analysis and other information needed to evaluate your research. We need to disclose our methods and materials whichever we have to evaluate our research. Accountability. Take responsibility for your part in research and be prepared to give an account, that is an explanation or justification of what you did on a research project and why. You need to be accountable whatever you have prepared and be prepared to give an account. Then intellectual property. Honor patents, copyrights and other forms of intellectual property. Do not use unpublished data, methods or results without permission. Give proper acknowledgement of credit for all contributions to research. Never plagiarize. You should never plagiarize the things, like you should never copy the same thing what others have written. Should write in your own words or what you understood from it. Okay. Confidentiality. Protect confidential communications such as papers or grants submitted for publication. Personal records, trade or military secrets and patient records should be confidential. We need to protect the confidential details of the patients, or if it anything related to human related or animals related, mainly humans. Why? Because the data is very important if it is related to humans. Responsible publication. Okay, publish in order to advance research and scholarship, not to advance just your own career. Avoid wasteful and duplicative publications. Okay. Responsible mentoring. Help to educate, mentor and advise students, promote their welfare and allow them to make their own decisions. Respect for colleagues. Respect your colleagues and treat them fairly. You need to respect your colleagues and treat them fairly. Social responsibility. Strive to promote social good and prevent or mitigate social harms through research, public education and advocacy. Non-discrimination. Avoid discrimination against colleagues or students on the basis of sex, race, ethnicity or other factors not related to scientific competence and integrity. Competence. Maintain and improve your own professional competence and expertise through lifelong education and learning. Take steps to promote competence in science as a whole. You should have a competence feel in yourself, so you can continually learning on the research whatever you started. Legality. Know and obey relevant laws and institutional and governmental policies. Animal care. Show proper respect and care for animals when using them in research. Do not conduct unnecessary or poorly designed animal experiment. Human subjects protection. When conducting research on human subjects, minimize harms and risks and maximize benefits. Respect human dignity, privacy and autonomy. Take special precautions with vulnerable populations and strive to distribute the benefits and burdens of research fairly. When it is coming to animals, you need to take care, and even if it comes to human subjects as a protection, we need to conduct with very less minimum harms and with good benefits. You need to respect their dignity, privacy and autonomy while doing the research. What is positive science? Definition. Describe what is objective facts, observable phenomena and cause-effect relationship is the definition of positive science. Approach. Factual and testable, avoids value judgments. Examples: biology, physics and in social science. Fields like positive economics. Then ethics context. A positive approach studies what people actually do, their moral behaviors without prescribing judgment. What is normative science? Definition. Prescribes what ought to be, establishes ideals, value judgments and standards. Approach evaluative, ought-based and inherently value-laden. Examples: ethics, logics, aesthetics and normative economics. Ethics context is nothing but seeks to determine what is right or wrong and why we should act morally. This is the two things. I've seen some question asking about positive science and normative science, so I have added this. Then how they relate? Core aspect, core question method, value judgments and examples and ethics. Positive science is nothing but what is happening. Normative science is what ought to happen, what is going to happen in future. Method: empirical and descriptive. Here prescriptive and evaluative. Okay, we are going to know something is going to happen and we are prescribing something to prevent that. Evaluative. Here empirical and descriptive. It is descriptive as it is happening. You are going to see and you need to describe it. And it is empirical. Value judgments. It is avoided and it is central. Then examples in ethics. Many people lie under pressure. Why? Because in positive science they lie under pressure. Lying is morally wrong. In normative science you should never lie. So positive science can inform ethics, facts about behavior, but it can't determine moral value. Normative ethics interprets and evaluates those facts using moral reasoning. Why it matters? Why those two matters? Clear analysis avoids unwarranted leaps from descriptive to prescriptive. Then balanced reasoning, good ethical arguments use facts plus moral principles. Philosophical integrity, honoring the fact value distinction upholds epistemological and ethical soundness. So this completes the first topic. So the next topic I will do a separate video. For now I am stopping. Thank you from Sri Sai Tech Edu YouTube channel. Read, lead, success. Keep reading.